Scalloped potatoes turning out bland? Here are some easy tricks that will turn you into the neighborhood Julia Child of scalloped potatoes. When you're making scalloped potatoes, you shouldn't just reach into the pantry and pull out just any old potato. There are over 200 types of potatoes you can find in grocery stores in the US, but not all of them are equal when it comes to specific potato dishes. For the best scalloped potatoes, you want a starchy variety that'll add creamy depth to the sauce. Russet and Idaho potatoes are the most common starchy potatoes you'll find at the grocery store. They're popular choices for making French fries and baked potatoes, so you may already have some at home. It's not impossible to use waxy potatoes like red potatoes, but they won't act as much of a thickening agent for the sauce. Plus, they don't tend to soften as much when baked and may require partial boiling beforehand, which adds extra steps to the cooking process. Scalloped potatoes are cut into rounds, similar in shape to potato chips, but don't make them too thick. Ideally, each slice should be between 1/8 and 1/4 of an inch thick. Keeping them extremely thin helps to cook them through quickly. Thinner potatoes also absorb more flavor. Plus, thinly sliced potatoes collectively have more overall surface area for optimum flavor exposure. It's also important to cut them to equal thickness. If some pieces are twice as thick as others, they won't be uniformly done. Plus, the textural experience will be different if some slices are different sizes. It's possible to cut them into uniform slices by hand using your fingers as a thickness guide, and being careful to hold the knife straight for even vertical cuts. Alternatively, you can use a precision slicing machine like a mandolin or a food processor with slicing attachment to help you cut uniform slices. In the end, as long as they're close, it's good enough. Don't overthink it.
Did you measure your potato slices?
No, there's no time.
There's no time. You just have to know. But you don't know.
If your sauce is runny, you end up with a dish that's more like potato soup than scalloped potatoes. The first trick to keeping your sauce thick is to refrain from soaking or rinsing your potatoes. You want all that starchy goodness to end up in your sauce and not poured down the drain. And when you add liquid to your dish, it should even out with the top layer of ingredients. Add too much liquid and you're likely to get a final product that's swimming in sauce. If you take the dish out of the oven and it still looks runny, don't despair. Let your potatoes sit out at room temperature for 20 or 30 minutes. In that time, the ingredients will cool down and the sauce will thicken. If you've gotten to the end of the cooking and resting time and the sauce is still runny, you can still salvage it. The easiest thing to do is to introduce instant potato flakes into the sauce. This way you're not diluting the flavor with a bland thickener because the flakes already taste like potatoes. Using full-fat dairy products for scalloped potatoes contributes to the dish's texture, flavor, and overall appeal. Low-fat dairy products can actually lead to a curdled sauce. The lower the fat content in the dairy product, the more likely the proteins will break apart and curdle when heated. Even whole-fat milk can be problematic, so you'll want to choose half and half or heavy cream when adding liquids to the sauce. Doing so will make the overall flavor fuller and richer because fat helps concentrate all the other flavors in the dish. Your taste buds will thank you for using full-fat dairy products. One mistake people make when adding creamy, fatty ingredients to this casserole is using acidic dairy products like sour cream, buttermilk, or yogurt. They sound like they would be amazing additions, especially when paired with green onions or ranch seasoning. However, introducing acidic ingredients will likely curdle your sauce and prevent your potatoes from cooking through, even if you cook them longer. If you've never tried mixing in other root veggies when making scalloped potatoes, you're missing a treat. You can easily follow your favorite scalloped potatoes recipe and substitute other root veggies for some of the potatoes. There are several options including carrots, parsnips, turnip roots, celery roots, beets, and sweet potatoes. Even if you don't really like a particular root vegetable, you might change your mind when it's roasted and covered with a creamy sauce, cheese, garlic, and spices. You'll want to slice the other root veggies to the same thickness as your potatoes. While you can mix the sliced veggies throughout the dish, scalloped root veggies are even more striking when arranged in rows by type. You could create a whole rainbow of colors with alternating rows of purple beets next to yellow potatoes, orange sweet potatoes, and white parsnips. If you've been eating ordinary scalloped potatoes for years and would like a different flavor profile for the dish, consider going for an international theme. You can draw inspiration from a variety of flavor traditions, including Mexican, Indian, or Greek. You can give your casserole a Mexican flair with the addition of ingredients like green chilies and pepper jack cheese, taco seasoning, and Mexican canned corn, or salsa and queso. Indian scalloped potatoes could include ingredients like garlic, onions, hot peppers, coriander, cumin, turmeric, chili powder, garam masala, and tomato paste. Or you could make a simpler version with just garlic, green onions, and garam masala as the main flavor notes. Greek scalloped potatoes would contain ingredients like rosemary, basil, and feta cheese. While cream and cheese go nicely with this dish, potatoes and dairy products have mild flavors, so you want to add ingredients that have more intensity.
I'm gonna dip this potato in some crushed Vicodin.
Well, not that much intensity. Think more along the lines of alliums, like chopped green onions, caramelized onions, fresh garlic, and French fried onions. Some cooks rub the casserole dish with a cut clove of garlic before oiling or buttering it. A can of chopped peppers can add flavor and even heat to the dish if you choose a spicy variety of peppers. Another option is to stir in a jar of pesto, which will permeate the dish with its rich basil flavor. Mushrooms also make an interesting addition, or you could use truffle oil to enhance the flavor. Keeping the temperature low for your scalloped potatoes is essential to create the best texture. We've already mentioned several things that can make the dairy products in your dish curdle, like using low-fat dairy products or acids. However, even if you do everything else right, high heat can still cause the proteins in your dairy products to separate, leaving you with a curdled sauce. You want to keep the oven temperature around 350 degrees Fahrenheit. It will take longer to cook, but you'll appreciate the uniform texture and the crisp, browned top your dish will get. Adding foil is a great trick that allows the ingredients to steam and soften while cooking at low temperatures. However, you will want to remove the foil during the final 15 minutes so the top can start to brown.
It's crunchy. Huh. Nope, wait, it's smushy. It's crunchy and smushy. What's crunchy and smushy?
A textural contrast between soft cooked potatoes and a crunchy topping can seriously upgrade your dish. Almost any type of crispy snack food that you can crumble to add on top will do the trick. One of the most obvious options is potato chips. Plain chips work just fine, however, you can take the topping to the next level with flavored chips, such as salt and vinegar or sour cream and onion. We can't think of too many flavors that wouldn't make for a more interesting casserole. Another option is to top the dish with French fried onions. Not only will it add crunch, but it also adds a more intense onion flavor to the casserole. Ritz crackers and crushed cornflakes are other options. A great trick to upgrade your scalloped potatoes is to add meat. A little protein-packed meat takes it from a vegetarian side dish to a full meal. Just about any meat will do, but we have some favorites. We like the idea of adding crumbled breakfast sausage, which pairs well with cheddar cheese. Sliced smoked sausage tastes good with the dish as well. You can choose from a mild or spicy sausage, depending on your flavor preferences.
Oh, is this scalloped potatoes and sausage?
Well, preacher knows it's your favorite.
Pepperonis make an interesting addition, which may inspire you to add herbs like oregano and basil. You can even treat the whole dish like a pizza by adding pizza sauce and placing pepperonis and mozzarella cheese on top. Diced ham or fried bacon are also tasty add-ins. The salty flavor of these meats pair well with the cheese and potatoes. You could also use leftover holiday ham or cooked chicken. Using a store-bought rotisserie chicken can help save time. Scalloped potatoes aren't just appropriate as a supper side dish, it's also a creative option for breakfast. The easiest way to turn this dish into a breakfast casserole is to, of course, add breakfast meats.
Okay, I'll do it. But look, I don't even know if I'll like bacon.
You can add cooked bacon, breakfast sausage, or ham to easily turn any recipe into one fit for breakfast. You can also add a mixture of eggs and milk and cover it with breakfast meat and shredded cheese during the last 30 minutes or so of cooking for a multi-layered one-pan breakfast feast. For a non-meat alternative, you can use omelet ingredients to inspire you, like red bell peppers, grilled onions, or mushrooms. Baked potatoes and French fries aren't the only types of potatoes you can eat loaded. Scalloped potatoes also deserve the royal treatment, with lots of tasty ingredients either cooked in or added after cooking is complete. The most basic version of loaded scalloped potatoes comes with ingredients like cheddar cheese, cooked bacon, and green onions baked into the casserole. However, you can add as many toppings as you like. For example, after the dish is done, you could add more proteins. Pulled pork, black beans, or just extra cheese are flavorful additions. Sauces like ranch dressing or sour cream can also add an extra layer of flavor. Plus, you have the opportunity to add vegetables like corn kernels, roasted peppers, or jalapenos. The time after the casserole emerges from the oven is also a great opportunity to throw on some fresh herbs like dill, parsley, or cilantro, or kick it up a notch with bagel seasoning, taco seasoning, or Cajun seasoning. If you don't want to run to the store for some heavy cream but have creamy soups in your cupboard, they're more than adequate to use as the cream base to upgrade your scalloped potatoes. You can use cream of mushroom, cream of chicken, or cream of celery soup. You could even go for something like cream of bacon. And if you want more potatoes in your potatoes, you guessed it, reach for the cream of potato soup, although that wouldn't be our first choice. Just keep in mind that choosing any of these will alter the overall flavor elements of your casserole, so you'll want to think about adding spices to help round out the flavor you're looking for. To substitute creamy soups in for dairy products, you'll probably have to expand the volume of your soup to match the recommended amount of dairy. To do this, you can mix the soup with regular milk, water, or even broth, depending on what liquids you have available.